Folks, this is the one and only Warwolf spouting out at you from this place that I call the Howl Zone. Which is my way of saying, welcome to another review. Folks, first off, I very much want to wish you all a very happy Easter. Yeah, my joke sucked. Deal with it. Anyway, so we got a couple of things for you tonight. First off, we are going to do a quick review of Rampage from this past Friday night, and then we are going to deal with a review of Battle of the Belt 6, which was literally right after Rampage that very day. So, let's take a quick start with this. We got, as usual, Rampage is going to come at you fast and furious. It's a little bit different from Dynamite in that regard. Dynamite will sometimes give you a little bit of an opening monologue or something. Rampage, they get right into it, and that's actually what they did here. Show opened up with Hook defending the FTW against Ethan Page. We get told this is under FTW rules, so basically just assume this is a hardcore match with falls counting anywhere in the building. And they lived up to that. The match pretty much went to the outside and stayed there for at least the opening third of the damn thing. So we literally have them going right out into the crowd. They have some decent amount of back and forth, but Hook is largely dominating the match, throughout the majority of this entire encounter. So, after they go into the crowd, exchange a couple of blows, they do some pretty crazy stuff, including setting up a table and some chairs. Hook manages to snag the Red Rum, gets the tap-out victory. Then, apparently, I guess he was... I guess he wanted to, make use of the table, because there was a table set up during the match, never got used. He decides he's just going to put Ethan Page through the table, which he does. Hook is starting to develop as a character, as a personality. I'm honestly enjoying seeing where he's going to go with this. He's had some very interesting interactions over the last, couple of years since he was introduced. Of course, for those who are not aware, and at first I wasn't, this is Taz's son, so it almost fits that he is right now the FTW champion. Next we get another segment from QTV. Does anybody know what the point of these guys are? I mean, I get that QT Marshall is now, or QT Marshall, let's be honest, I can't stand that QT Marshall thing. It's pretentious as fuck. But basically, QT Marshall and Powerhouse Hobbs have basically become, a tag team or something. I don't know if they're a stable or what, because it seems like it's just them and, these other two weirdos whose purpose I really can't understand. I think I missed the first episode of QTV, so, I mean, if I did, that might explain why I'm not sure exactly who these people are. But I've seen a couple of these segments now. I don't know what the purpose is. I'm not sure I want to know what the purpose is. But, okay. So, either way, then we get this rather interesting 8-man tag where you basically got the JAS, that's the Jericho Appreciation Society members, Gaddy Magic Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Angelo Parker, I think. Again, somebody correct me, because I can't remember off the top of my head if that's actually their name, but I think that is their names. So they team up to go against, they team up with the Acclaimed, right? But, seriously, who the hell are these guys? I mean, they're listed as the Infantry, Bobby Orlando, and LSG. Now, they're probably from an indie promotion, which is fine, but I have no background on these guys. It's like they came out of nowhere, which, I mean, to be fair, they probably did in that regard. It's just like, I have no idea who in the name of God these people are. This is a relatively quick match, and I gotta say, it's like, dude, to Matt Menard, please stop asking us if we know what makes your nipples hard. Nobody in their right mind should want to know that other than your wife. I'm not sure even your wife should want to know that. Or husband. I mean, he could be gay, so I'm not going to judge. But yeah, the Acclaimed pick up the win. And then the JS, now, they've been courting these guys for a while, trying to get them to join the group. But I guess that whole thing was a setup because they turned on the Acclaimed and basically laid them out. So, all right, that's interesting. We got a brief appearance by Swerve Strickland, who's running his mouth and he's teasing like some kind of new alliance. And they did actually answer this very quickly, actually. So I'll get back to that in a little bit. We got Lee Moriarty. That's one of the better talents of AEW. I think he's a homegrown talent, in fact. Comes out and he's got Big Bill, originally William H. Morrissey, now Big Bill, and even before that, a lot of WWE fans might recognize this guy as Big Cass from the team with Enzo Amore, which honestly I thought it was a really good tag team. So, who's he up against? Darby Allin. And, dude, Darby is tougher than I think anybody ever gave him credit for. Why do I say this? Well, look at his back. Look at the right side of his back. Now, they mentioned that he gets laid out during the course of the episode, but yeah, I mean, he apparently got hit by a car while they were in New York. The episode of Rampage and Battle of the Belts were apparently held in Rhode Island, which is very unusual because usually, if you see them in one particular area in Dynamite, odds are the next time you see Dynamite, they're going to be at that same arena. Usually because I think they tape Rampage, in the same arena that they tape Dynamite. Now, they could do it all in one show. I don't happen to be aware if they're doing that. I know that the WWE used to do that when they were the WWF, but, I mean, yeah, that's like some serious road rash. But, yeah, so, I don't really know what to say about that. The fact that he got in the ring anyway with that kind of damage, yeah, I'm surprised he was clear. I hope to God that's a work. Because if that's a shoot, it's like, what idiot was irresponsible enough to let this guy get in the ring with that kind of an injury? I mean, you saw how bruised his back was on the right-hand side. That's crazy. And that's a serious what the fuck moment, at least for me. But we get a chance to see why Darby Allin is considered one of the four pillars. We also get to see why Lee Moriarty is one of the better up-and-coming stars of AEW. And again, I think this guy's going to be a champion someday. Big Bill gets involved while the referee's distracted. And let me remind you, Big Bill, Lee Moriarty, Ethan Page, they're all part of a stable called The Firm. So that kind of makes sense that they are, basically helping each other out. I think they might be potentially teasing a split, because I think we are looking at Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy, and I forget who the other half of Private Party is, but they might be trying to get them separated out from the Firm, so we could see them feuding again, because at that point that could happen. I don't know. Darby, basically gets, trounced by Moriarty after the interference by Big Bill, but he manages to fight his way back into the match. We got some very unique moments, including, I don't even know how to explain what I saw with this. Lee Moriarty gets Darby in the full Nelson, and he counters using his leg. I don't know how to explain this one. Let me see. I think I've got... I thought I had... I don't think so. But I thought I had an image of the counter that he used against the full Nelson. I don't think I have it, which is kind of sad because that is a really unique image, and I don't think I got a chance to get a screen cap of it. But I mean, that's pretty weird too. I mean, credit where it's due. It's extraordinarily unique. I've never seen it before, but I don't think anybody's ever tried that before because it looks so damn weird. Like, okay, I mean, credit where it's due. It's certainly unique. So, he basically wins the match off of the coffin drop and picks up the 1-2-3. But then we get to that moment where Darby gets laid out, and it's as the result of Swerve Strickland apparently uniting with the Embassy. Now remember, Swerve Strickland has been part right now of a group calling itself the Mogul Affiliates. I don't get the reference there. But supposedly the Mogul Affiliates and the Embassy are now working together. So I don't know if that's the creation of a supergroup or if they're going to see potentially an eventual split between these two, and then we're going to see the Mogul Affiliates versus the Embassy. I'm really not sure. So then we get a segment between Jade Cargill and Taya Valkyrie. Taya Valkyrie is, of course, anybody who's seen Lucha Underground should recognize her. She is, of course, the old Lucha Underground Trios champion with John Morrison and then Johnny Mundo. And honestly, I forget who their third partner was. But Taya was supposedly proposed to by John Morrison in Lucha Underground. I don't know if that was a work or if that was, a legit thing. I haven't really thought to look it up. At some point, I've got to do that just for clarification's sake. Taya is currently working in MLW. So she and Johnny are in the same promotion, but she's also working now in AEW. This could be a good moment for her to see her potentially get like her big break. Johnny Morrison, of course, formerly Johnny Mundo, formerly Johnny Nitro. I mean, the dude's had so many damn names at this point. Honestly, I think he's trying to beat Ed Leslie's like record for different character names. So basically, Jade has been upset about Taya using her finisher because it is not really unique to her, and a lot of people have been utilizing that move for years. She's trying to get like some kind of legal thing going here that's not working. So there's that. And I honestly gotta say, I was like, Jade has bored the living hell out of me for a while because it's like, oh, she's undefeated, yay! It's like she's barely on television to begin with, and when she is, like, she really needs to up her promo game because she kind of comes off as, I mean, she's not stilted, she's just kind of boring. Like, get some new material, for the love of God, please. So, I mean, I loved seeing Taya cut her down and just, fire back at it, especially when Jade is basically whining that she's not getting her way of being the only one to use that specific move. It's really weird. I mean, like, we've seen people feud about who's got the better version of a move. And at one point we had Brett versus Sting, and, it was largely based around the fact that they were both using the Scorpion Deathlock, aka the Sharpshooter, but it wasn't a matter of, like, one person whining about it. It's just one person going, hey, I've been using this move for years, you've been using this move for years, and we're both territorial about it. So, yeah. We then have a match between Julia Hart of the House of Black and Anna J, who now goes by the name Anna JAS, as she's part of the Jericho Appreciation Society. And these two had a pretty damn good match. So, the only thing I want to know is, like, Julia came out, and I don't know if they had a microphone attached to her or what, but it seemed like she was either singing her own entrance theme or she was lip-syncing to it. And she may have, in fact, sung the thing and had it recorded and is then able to match herself, beat for beat on the recording, which takes a lot of skill. If she was singing it herself, that's also pretty damn impressive. But am I the only one getting vibes of Hocus Pocus? I mean, does anybody remember that scene in that movie? Because I swear to God, that's what I was getting the vibes off of here for that. So it was, really kind of interesting. And I think she started doing it again after she won the match. Now, she won via the use of the Black Mist. So I guess Keiji Muto would be proud. And that is our main event for Rampage, which takes us right into Battle of the Belts 6. Now, Battle of the Belts 6 is your basic... I guess it's their answer to the Clash of the Champions. So, I guess they're trying to get around the potential trademark issues. I don't know if WWE even still uses the Clash of Champions thing. If they do, they're probably using it for NXT, but I've got no idea. So, we got the startup for Battle of the Belts, and we've got Orange Cassidy defending the ever-impressive International Championship. And there is one other thing that I've got to... this is one of the weirdest moments that I have ever seen. And give me a minute, because I got to load this up. So, I'm doing this right now. And the only thing I can think of to say is that this is just weird. How weird are we talking? Well, look at this thing. That is weird in and of itself. So, I mean, if anybody else has a clue what's going on there, the International Championship, of course, in the hands... I mean, this was literally something that happened when he was taking on Dralistico. Now, Dralistico was part of La Faction de Igor Nobles, I think. I'm going to trip on that for probably forever. I can't speak Spanish very well. Let's be honest, I can't speak Spanish at all. But, yeah, this is one of those things where, like, he grabs a hold of Dralistico by one hand and does these really, like, super soft chops. Because, like, if anybody's seen Orange Cassidy, where he does those things where he just, like, doesn't even really tap somebody, just kind of pretends to kick at them. And he was doing the same thing with the chops, and then all of a sudden, boom! Hits him with a real one. It was actually pretty impressive. It was a little weird. It was a little strange. But, I mean, it worked out fine. So, basically, they had some great moments here. We had some moments where, like, honestly, like, we got some moments where... I would honestly call it shades of The Undertaker. I mean, I don't know how else to put this, because we literally have, give me a minute here. We actually have Cassidy going up top, and he basically, he pulls like an Undertaker movement. So give me just a second here, because I got to load this up. But, I mean, give me just a second here. Take a look at this, and if you can look at this and tell me this doesn't feel like something that The Undertaker would do, I mean, it can't just be me. So give me just a moment here. Take a look at this. This is literally Cassidy up on the top ropes, which, by the way, they're keeping the red, white, and blue theme, and I absolutely adore that. This is incredible to see somebody else basically pulling The Undertaker's move. Now, I honestly, it didn't end up being like the hammer blow to the shoulder, because he's in the wrong positioning for that. But, I mean, he cuts up, he does this beautiful move off literally the top rope rather than the buckles. We always say off the top rope, but let's be honest, that's always been basically off the top turnbuckle. But, yeah, I mean, that's really impressive. Now, Cassidy ends up winning with the Orange Punch. Beautifully executed match. Dralistico, we found out, this might have been something a lot of people might have already known. This, at the very least, was something I found out. It was certainly discussed on Battle of the Belts. He's the brother of Rouge, who also goes by the name of El Toro Blanco. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's either El Toro Blanco or La Toro Blanco. But either way, it's... Somebody correct me. Does that translate to the White Bull? I think that's what that translates to. I don't speak Spanish. I don't speak French. But I don't think that's French. I think that's some offshoot of Spanish. I think that was developed in Mexico. Again, somebody in the comments, please let me know if that's the case. I could be wrong here entirely. But if I'm not, I mean, that's definitely interesting. We then get a promo from the House of Black, and Buddy Murphy, I think it's Buddy Matthews actually now. Sorry, I keep getting those two mixed up because I can't remember which one's actually his WWE name. But the House of Black brings up the fact that they put up the Trios belts this past Wednesday on Dynamite, and they basically say, hey, Orange, why don't you put up the International Championship? And apparently he had no problem doing so because it was later confirmed that night, yeah, that's going to happen, and it's probably going to be, I believe it's going to be on Dynamite, so that should be pretty interesting. Then we get, give me just a moment here, we get an appearance by Mark Briscoe. Now, Mark Briscoe, of course, the surviving member of the tag team, the Briscoes. His brother Jay, unfortunately, passed during a car accident back in January. And again, we wish, nothing but the best to Mark and Jay's family. Obviously, that'd be, Mark's, nephew, niece, and everything. Plus, of course, his sister-in-law. And, Mark basically gets approached by Jay Lethal, who's like, hey, why don't we team up? And it seems like he's okay for it. And then all of a sudden we get like Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt coming out. So like, did he basically get conned into joining forces with them or what? I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen here. So yeah, I don't know what's happening with that. I'm not really sure where that's going. I think that this could be a very interesting development if, like, they're trying to turn him heel, but I don't know. I think he's going to be kind of in a similar situation to Matt Hardy, where he's basically a face who's kind of aligned with heels without necessarily having intended to be. So next we get Jade Cargill defending the TBS women's title against Billy Starks, and it's spelled Starksz, I think? I'm not sure if it's SZ or if it's just Z, but either way, we find out Billy is 18. They make this comment about that she was only able to have this match because she either skipped school or missed school or something. Remember, this past Friday was in fact Good Friday, so some schools would potentially have been closed if they observed Good Friday as a holiday, or who knows. Ultimately, she ends up losing, but, she put in a hell of an effort. She's probably taken Jade to as much of a limit as she's had before. This is honestly the longest match I've seen Cargill in. So, all the credit in the world to Billy Starks. I hope at some point she ends up winning a championship in AEW. I don't know if she's actually on the roster, or if she was somebody that was part of an international talent trade. They said she's been all over the world, so she's probably been doing relatively well for herself. So I think they said she's been like a 3 or 4 year veteran at this point. So she's been around for a couple of years. I don't know how she's managed that, if she's still in school. So, I mean, she might be a college student now, but I'm not sure how the rest of the wrestling situation would have worked out for her if she's been wrestling since like the age of like 15 or 16. So I guess take that as you will. Taya Valkyrie, she comes out. Jade and Taya both try to nail that same finisher, and neither one of them actually hits it, but that definitely seems to be setting up for their match in the future, which I wouldn't be surprised if it's at Double or Nothing at this point, because that seems like what they're aiming for. Then we get a promo. I thought it was going to be from the Elite, but it turned out to be from Brian Cutler and Michael Nakamura, I believe. It seems like they're getting ready to step up and potentially go after the Blackpool Combat Club. Remember, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are apparently, for the moment, out on injury. Now, of course, that could be storyline. I think the Bucks might be doing something with another promotion very briefly. And then, of course, we've got the potential that they could be going over to Japan. Kenny Omega, of course, is the IWGP United States heavyweight champion, so it would not surprise me if he has a couple of dates in Japan where potentially he's got to defend that particular title. I'm not sure what the story is with the Bucks. Of course, this is all storyline. I don't believe they are legitimately injured because I haven't heard anything to indicate that this is the case. But then we get our main event of the evening. And it is, in fact, for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. And I gotta say, I love these new belts. And yes, they are brand new championships for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. The original belts apparently were given to Mark Briscoe. Now, this is not the first time something like this happened. Of course, this happened with Brody Lee Jr., of course, is the son of Brody Lee, who was better known as Luke Harper in WWE. He was given an older design of the TNT Championship and declared honorary TNT Champion for life. And I believe AEW has flat out said in a couple of years, if he wants to be a wrestler and follow in his father's footsteps, he's potentially got a contract waiting for him with them. We'll see what happens. So yeah, we've got the championship on the line, and it's the Lucha Brothers. That's Rey Fenix and Penta El Cero Miedo, who's also been known as Pentagon Jr. and Pentagon Dark over in Lucha Underground and Impact Wrestling, taking on Powerhouse Will Hobbs and QT Marshall. And this was a hell of a match. You know, I mean, this was pretty damned impressive. You know, the Lucha Brothers, you know, showing off why they did become the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. We saw some great moves out of all four men. A beautiful sit-out powerbomb by Powerhouse Will Hobbs. Ultimately, the Lucha Brothers do end up retaining. And it's an incredible match. And if you get the chance to watch this on, on replay or what have you, it's really impressive. You know, to see this match straight. And then they did this incredible move where basically the Lucha Brothers did, I guess you'd call it an attempt at a tower splash, where literally you have, like, I believe it was Rey Fenix who got up on top of Pentagon, you know, on his shoulders, while Pentagon was basically mounted on the top turnbuckle. And they end up doing this beautiful splash on Powerhouse Hobbs. They ultimately end up retaining the championship. But, damn, it was close either way. And when you get right down to it, these guys were friggin' awesome either way. But, you know, ultimately the champions do retain. And, you know, a great, great match, a great event, and a great, great evening for anybody who's a wrestling fan. So, that was Battle of the Belts 6 and Rampage. They were held the same night. If you happen to have the ability to watch on demand via whether it be your cable system or something else, or even like the TNT app, I don't know if they have Battle of the Belts on there, but I would think they should. Give it a watch. It was a great, great night. We're going to be doing a review of Dynamite on Wednesday. Again, I don't know if I should do reviews of Dark and Dark Elevation. What do you guys think? Let me know. So, we're going to go from there. If you like this video, please leave a like, hit the notification bell, and by all means, hit subscribe. That helps me out. The YouTube algorithm is a hungry monster that is always looking to put the pin on everybody, and I need your help to kick out. So, once again, folks, if you liked this video, please let me know. Give me a comment. Any questions you have, I will try to answer them. I can't necessarily guarantee I'll get to everything, but I will try. So, give me your thoughts. Do you want to see reviews of Dark and Dark Elevation? Do you want to see reviews of MLW? Now, again, I've only watched one of the episodes of MLW at this point. I'm not really sure it's for me, but if this is something you guys want to see reviews on, I mean, I could certainly oblige you. I don't know if there's actually any interest. I mean, obviously there's some interest from you guys on AEW, and I'm going to start doing some anime reviews when I get the chance. We just found out that Verve is being shut down, and I guess everybody's being shunted over to Crunchyroll, so I mean, there's that, but, you know, I'm definitely going to try to do some anime reviews, might even try to do some reviews of some tokusatsu shows if I get the chance. You know, I don't know, but, yeah, I mean, let me know, because, I mean, this is basically the next episode of Wrestling, Anime, Whatever, and it is a review for wrestling. Obviously, we're going to be getting on to the anime at some point, and then we'll just be dealing with the whatever. It's just basically me talking about, well, whatever. So, again, leave a like, leave a comment, hit that notification bell, hit subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!